Hi everyone, so this is going to be a collective energy read for the wolf full moon that is taking place tonight. I think it's an important read, so take what resonates, leave the rest. It's not going to be for everybody, but I do think some people are going to get some good nourishment from this particular reading. Like the video, comment, it helps. And also if you want to book your own personal wolf moon, you can check it out below or in the video. So this has got a lot of stories and it's to do with coming to your power. So some of years this is about a childhood experience. Something happened when you were younger at the hands of a guardian. So this could have been a parent, a mother, a father, or somebody who was supposed to be looking after you. It's not a normal moon, it's a wolf moon. So this is primal instinct. This can also be what this person did to you was primal. Could be sexual abuse, it could be physical abuse. It was acting on the primal instincts, and I think that this thing has affected you for many years. Some of you have not dealt with this because you've got this Eight of Swords. Some of you, the wounding is still deep within you and you haven't healed from it, and it's really affecting your life. So yes, it's a wolf moon, but it's in the seventh house. So it's in Cancer. So this is to do with things that we experience as a child or things that people do to us affect our life. They affect our ability to create a healthy relationship, a healthy family, a healthy self. And so you're being called that whatever this wounding was that was done, you do need to confront it and you do need to heal it. And a strong message I heard is that some of you have never spoke about this. So this particular thing that you experienced, it's going to be different for everyone. Some of you might not relate, that's okay. But some of you, this particular thing that you experienced as a child or what was done to you through some kind of guardian, you've never spoke about it. And we do have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords can be a lot of bitterness, a lot of resentment towards certain family. This could be if you did experience something by somebody and you did speak of it, maybe this person rejected it, maybe this person dismissed it. Why is this important at this time? It's important at this time because the way you're living your life is created off this wounding. Some of you, this experience was so traumatic that it fundamentally changed you. So whatever this, we all have experiences, we all have memories, we all have certain things that happen in our life, but whatever this particular thing was, fundamentally changed you. The way you look at people, the way you look at relationships, the way you live your life, okay? I do think this was predatory. I think it was something that was abusive because we see this Eight of Swords. So let's go to that it is a moon in Cancer. So Cancer is the home, the place we live in. If you're still living in the place that this memory occurred, this can still bring up these unconscious reactions because we're still living in the place to which we experienced a lot of this abuse. Say, for example, you didn't have a good time with your family and you're still living in the place you were born, right? That can bring up a lot of unconscious memories. It can bring up a lot of unconscious triggers because we're still living in the place that that thing occurred. But I think the message of this full moon is about expression, because we talked about how wolves are not scared to express themselves. They'll go to the top of a hill and they'll howl. Wolves are not scared to express themselves. I think some of you have kind of shrinked, right? Maybe some of you have never spoke of this experience. No one's saying you'd have to go to, maybe you'll go to a therapist, maybe you'll go to somebody who's objective, but I think it's important to speak of this memory. Now, some of you, it's as simple as basically you spent a lot of your childhood surviving alone. You had a family, but it was almost like you was an imposter in that family, right? So it can be, for example, you've got detached parents, you've got parents that are there, but they're not there, okay? There's something fundamental in this wolf moon, and it's around how you build your home, how you build your family. If you're single, for example, you've got no kids, it might not be that that's your desire. It might be that memories of your childhood and toxicity and certain family dynamics have made you live that way, but it's not really what you want. So there is some kind of truth for the individual listening to this that needs to come out. It's a good time to study what you're resentful of, where you feel bitter. It could be a chance to reconnect with family if you still care about that family. But some years I don't think it's about that. I think it's more about the Seven of Water in the center is about emotions. I'm also getting someone who's got addictions, and I think these addictions might come from the family. So, for example, if we've had a father or a mother who has been an addict, then we can also follow that path. So the wolf moon is thinking about the way you're living your life and why. Why am I living my life like this? Did you know that like 50% of adults in the modern generations are single, no kids, unmarried? There's also big divorce rates. I don't think people desire that. I think it's people have, because of wounding, because of trauma, because of toxic family dynamics, they fear failing. It's like, I don't want to have kids because I don't want my kids to look at me and hate me the way I hate my parents or a certain parent. I don't want to get married because it's probably going to fail, you know? So I think it's this wolf moon is looking at your belief system. I think we also live in a time of projection, and this is what toxic people do a lot. Toxic people project onto other people. So think of a person who they've had a failed marriage. They'll say things like, oh, don't get married. It's like, based off what? Your experience? Okay, so I feel like there's a strong message where we've got the Magician reversed. Another message I heard as well was around things that a person used to say to you. Remember, this is a collective general, so it's going to be different for everyone. I'm hearing that someone in the family, this was a guardian, a mother, a father, this person used to say things to you that used to make you doubt yourself, they make you doubt your confidence, make you doubt your talents, your skills. And I can also feel the womb, and the womb just feels awash with trauma, emotion. So the wolf moon is about not being scared to howl, not being scared to express yourself. Wolves don't sit with sheep, okay? But this is more about something primal is going to be coming out within you. What I'm also getting with this Seven of Water is people use addiction to suppress emotion, right? People use, drugs, alcohol, sex, self-sabotage as a way to cope with what they have got within them, or they haven't healed within them, or they haven't dealt with within them. But I think this is big because I think that this wolf full moon starting 2026, it's really about the life you're living, what you fear, wounds you haven't healed, and see the way you've also got the healing card. Your ancestors were coming through as well. Okay? So I feel like the message of your ancestors is the eagle, to gain a bigger perspective, to gain a bigger picture perspective of your life. You've got to this point and you've made choices, and some of it, you've been free falling. It's been coming from unconscious places. It's been coming from the shadow. It's been coming from other people's shadow. But your ancestors are saying it's a time for a new journey. I heard it's time to live on your own terms. Don't let people project onto you. It doesn't matter what society believes. It doesn't matter what other people believe. What do you believe? And this means tuning into yourself, right? It means listening to your heart, not your head. It's getting into the present reality rather than past emotions and past trauma. Because that's what a lot of people are doing. They're living out through data in the mind and in the body that is from past experiences. They're not living in the present. Maybe someone betrayed you in the past, so now you just don't let people get close to you because you feel like all people will betray you, right? So I feel like this wolf moon is going to be powerful because it's bringing up emotional stuff, it's bringing up primal stuff. But some of you, what it's bringing up is your connection to family. If you're a single person and you're unmarried and you don't have a family, you can ignore it, or you can say, actually, if I'm honest, I deeply desire marriage and a family. And the only reason I don't have it is because of what I seen as a child and what was done to me. But there's a lot of people who, through what they experience, predatory behaviour in other people, the win is that they never become those people, right? Just because your parents failed with you doesn't mean you'll fail if you have kids. Just because the vast majority fell in marriage doesn't mean you will. That's what the eagle is. It's someone who's much higher in consciousness. It's someone who sees above things, right? But I feel like I really love this because I feel like the bigger message is around happiness, letting the past go, not identifying through basically things that were said to you through toxic family members, because this comes up as family. No longer shrinking yourself, right? This is, and also giving up on bitterness and resentment towards other people. So this can be people who've hurt you, but it's just keeping you stuck. It's keeping you in a low consciousness. It's just keeping you in resentment. The wolf moon is an opportunity to feel what you feel and transmute it. And some of you, whether you're a man or a woman, you're going to go and speak to someone about this experience that took place. And it's going to be different for everyone. Some of you, it's going to be basic neglect. But just because it's neglect, it's not, heavy abuse, it doesn't mean it hasn't had a fundamental impact on your life, right? Some of you are going to go to speak about your childhood. This can also be nothing to do with your childhood. It might be a past connection. So this could be a masculine that you encountered or a feminine that you encountered. And I feel like this person was really abusive. So this person was very, very toxic. Maybe we're not talking about your childhood. Maybe we're talking about theirs. So maybe this person came from addicts or a toxic family, and they didn't know how to love you. They didn't know how to honour you, and they abused you. But this is dealing with some past connection. It's dealing with your childhood. But in relation to the now, it's, why am I living the way that I'm living? Why do I think the way that I think? Whose consciousness is this? Whose energy is this? Because we live in a time where that's what people do. That's what they mean by evil eye. It's projection. People are constantly projecting onto you their beliefs, their limitations, their fears. And so that's what your ancestors are saying. Your ancestors are saying it's time to look at yourself truthfully. What is you? What is the past? What is the current projection of the culture onto you? And it's time to realign yourself. There's also a message here about excuses. So, as much as our past, and I do believe this strongly, our past does dictate a lot about how we live. I truly believe this because it becomes unconscious, it's deprogramming, it takes time to heal. But some of you might acknowledge that. So some of you might say, you know what, actually, I am going to go this year and I'm going to do the work. Even if I was not responsible for the wound, I'm going to heal it. That's it. You're not going to live in fear, bitterness, resentment, avoidance anymore. Okay? It's almost, that's why your ancestors are coming through, because what they're actually saying is it's you breaking the generational pattern. Right? So there's also men who are watching this who I think that this reading is really powerful for. And then there's something to do with how you're living your life, the job you're doing. If you're single but you really want love, A lot of people, the trauma bonding, right? A lot of people are very toxic. And again, that's up to those people if that's how they want to spend this journey. Maybe that's also been you. But I feel like you're coming to a point where it's like, I just want to be happy. I don't want to live in my head. I don't want to live in fear. I don't want to be angry at people all the time. Also, there's a truth to the energy we're in is the energy we attract, right? Because frequency is everything. So often if you're in fear, you attract a lot of fear-based people or weak people. If you're angry all the time, you probably attract a bit more of the same. So 2026 has just started, and I think it's powerful that this wolf moon has taken place because, and again, there's also a message which is it's okay to be angry for what people did to you. Who wouldn't be angry? But there comes a point where you just have to stop. Okay? Because we've all been there, me too, where we've spent a lot of years in anger towards certain people, but it gets you nowhere. Yes, you should. Also, the best win with these people is to win, and to be everything to other people that they wasn't to you, to live in a way that they told you never could, to live in your truth because these people tried to take that from you, right? Your talents, your gifts, your true self. So I feel like this wolf moon is very, very powerful because it is about reconnecting with the authentic self. It's also, a lot of people are living out through trauma or anger or these type of energies, but that's not really who they are. It's not who they are. It's an identity that they've created, right? I'm not going to go into general energies in this full moon because I feel like it's bigger than that. I feel like it started at the start of 2026 because the previous years you've been living in a certain way, disconnected, unhappy, surrounded by certain individuals who are not your people. And what this full moon is going to do is give you the opportunity to say no more. No more. I think there's also a power here as well for some people who you've been surrounded by very, very low conscious beings and you're just not interested. There was a lot of kind of making excuses for people, maybe family, maybe friends, maybe people you've known a long time, family, friends, all of this. You're not doing that no more. There's an awareness, that's what the eagle is. When you come to a certain level of consciousness, you cannot be around low conscious people. It's insufferable. It's painful, right? There's a beauty to this reading because there's individuals who are listening who are ready. You're not going to let anybody strip you of your power anymore. You're not going to let any past experience create your identity and take your destiny. Okay, yeah, it got you for a while, but you're taking responsibility. You want to be in a new energy. That's what this page of wands is. You want to leave the past in the past. Especially coming back to what I said, some of you, this is something that was done to you through a marriage, through a relationship, and maybe you did fall into bitterness and resentment, but you're coming out of it. So in other words, you did fall into, I'm never getting married again, love's not worth it, yada, yada, yada. You're coming out of it. And the reason for this is because you're starting to heal. Because you understand as much as you experience that thing, and it is brutal. It's just one person. Just one person. There's also something to do with not listening to the collective toxicity, the collective identity that's very individualistic. If you're at a certain age, you're thinking about marriage, children, you're living on your terms, you're listening to yourself as an individual. You're not listening to the collective identity, the sheep. That's why they say the sheep don't sit with the wolves. You're not scared to express yourself and live in your truth. I think this year you're going to remove a lot of people out of your life because they are toxic and you've got no interest in being around them. And you are coming to a higher consciousness and awareness of what has been keeping you stuck. And some of you are just healing your past, right? You are taking responsibility and you're thinking about what is really going to make you happy in 2026. right? What do I really want? Not what my fear says, not what everybody else is doing. What do I really want? And you're starting to think about that. I think you've just been living very isolated from this experience. You've been living in your head, or you've been limiting your life in some way. I feel like this year, for the people who are listening to this, like, you want to live free. You want to give people the benefit of the doubt. It's like, okay, betray me, no problem, but I'm not going to live in fear of betrayal. You want to love, you want to express yourself. Some of years, I feel like that's what this wolf moon is saying, which is, wolves don't sit with sheep. Wolves are fierce animals, right? They want to experience completely, and they can't sit around people who are timid and fearful and live in a comfort zone. So there's something around honesty, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman listening to this, there's something around honesty. But there is a deep wound, and it comes from the family, the 7th house, right? Because this is in Cancer. And this addiction, some of you have got this addiction. You might drink too much, smoke too much. There's something you do too much. But it's not even because you enjoy it. It's because you're trying to cope with something. You're trying to suppress something. But I feel like this is the year where you're going to finally confront her. This is the year where if you've felt like you're not strong enough to get people out of your life, you will. Because like I said, you're coming to a point where you're no longer giving excuses to people who choose to abuse and act toxic and be low consciousness. You know. You want to be in good energy, right? You want to... The 7 of Water is around ideas. We've got creative gifts. But coming back to what I said, you had some kind of person in your life, I think it was a mother or a father, and it was almost like this person beat the confidence out of you. This person endlessly told you how you just wasn't good enough. And I think you've been living out through that identity. But now you're kind of starting to see, oh, actually, that was never nothing to do with me. This was a them problem. Like, this wasn't me, this was them. And so a lot of things that have kept you in your head, you're leaving behind. A lot of limitation, a lot of fear, all of this type of stuff. You're leaving it behind. So let's get some messages from my deck. This is just a quick deck, so I just want to take a look. He has his eye on you. I feel like for some of you with this wolf moon as well, there could be an intense attraction. So there could be a very powerful relationship that could be coming. But I feel like this wolf moon is about not being scared to go out into life in 2026, to love, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to trust people, to trust yourself, to no longer live in a cage. Because the 8 of Swords person is living in a cage. Okay, so you got let them go. If you're in a toxic relationship right now, or you've got toxic people around you, you're being told, let them go. Let these people go. Okay, if the people around you who call themselves friends and family create suffering, let them go. That's what a healthy person does. They don't complain about the toxic people in their life and then keep having them come to the table. It's hard to do, I've done it. But sometimes you have to, because some of the people who will wish you the most ill in their life will be the people who say they love you. And that's sick. Because strangers and idiots outside, that's one thing. But your own family. So I feel like the individual who's watching this, whether it be a woman or a man, this is around your identity, the way you live in your life, choices you're making, fears, resentment, bitterness, anger. It's around healing yourself so you no longer lean on addictions or you no longer check out. It's obviously we're at the start of a brand new cycle, 2026, year ahead. And so it's like, what do I actually want? And it's funny because when you start to question deeply, why am I living the way that I'm living? Why am I surrounded by these people? Why am I making these choices? And you get deep into your healing process, you start to see why. You know? So something is coming into the light. And the thing with the wolf is the wolf goes to the top of the hill. He's not scared of the truth. He's not scared of a fight. Create it, it will change your life. So I think there's like passion being born because that's what primal nature is, right? Primal nature is our passion. It's being like a wolf, fearless, right? Not being scared to start the business, not being scared to be disliked, not being scared to stand alone. This isn't about going against other people, but if you have to, you will. Right. This is about, I'm going for me, and I'm doing what works for me. And if you stand in my way, you're not gonna do that. Like, that's it. You're not pacifying people. You're not scared to stand up to people because you know what you want now. So you've got God is on your side. I feel like someone who's listening to this as well, like some seriously bad stuff was done at the hands of family. Some seriously dark, predatory stuff or some really, really bad stuff was done. And they're saying God is on your side. You have suffered, the devil has worked into your life. People have done things to you, but this is your time. New energy is coming. You're starting the path to healing. You're starting to become more tenacious, more courageous. You're starting to see people for what they are, right? Which is bitter. So the bitterness might not be you, it might be this other person, or it might be these other people. And you're not scared to let go, and you're not scared to stand alone. Okay? I want to punch you, to be honest. So there's something to do with anger. That also, if we look at this just being this weekend's message, be careful with that, because tension is going to be heightened because it is a wolf moon. So fights are more likely to take place. People are more likely to lash out. You could lash out. Okay? Because full moons do this, right? They bring things up within us and it's just intense. It's also in Capricorn. So Capricorn rules the devil. Right? Okay, so we do have military. So there could be a man who's watching this, and so military would be someone who's in control, right? When you're militant or the military, it's somebody who can keep control of themselves, keep control of the temper. Some of you, if we just look at the now, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting someone who plays mind games. I'm getting someone who's constantly trying to get a reaction, right? It could be some kind of environment that you're in. And again, military is about self-control and discipline, okay? Don't trust them. Now, this also comes down to the deeper meaning of what we've just talked about. Some of you are very isolated. You've learned not to trust people. But there's good people out there, you know? So some of you, that is actually what you're doing. You're working on maybe the Christmas reveal to you how alone you are. Because at the end of the day, maybe being alone protects you, but it keeps you on your own. You'd have to trust someone at some point. Right? If you can have friends, if you can have love, if you can have connection in your life, that takes trust. Right? But some of you, there's people around you who are just, well, you know what they are. We're going to try and be polite this year. You know what they are. Toxic people are obvious. Dirty people are obvious. You know what they are. And if your intuition, that's another one with this full moon, your intuition is always going to be telling you what's what. You don't need to be in your head overly guessing because you already know. That's why we have a primal instinct, because your primal instinct senses danger. It knows what's safe and it knows what's dangerous. Okay? You've got despises you. So if this is taking place right now, there's some kind of problem in your life, there's some kind of conflict, I would apply caution this weekend. I'm getting somebody in a family who's jealous of another person. So you could be in a relationship, you could be very happy. I'm just getting somebody who's a very, very bitter person, right? Think of like you're in a relationship and you've got a mother-in-law and this person's always meddling. This is a bitter person who, through their failings, through their loneliness, they're trying to project that onto other people. Don't let them. But you have to find a way to deal with toxic people. And I'm getting that for someone who's listening to this, there's someone who's just dying for you to react. And maybe you want to, I understand this, but if people are causing problems in your life, the natural instinct is to want to react. But discipline is where you can see a toxic person, you can see a piece of shiz, and you just don't play. Just don't play. Okay? But I'm going to stick where some of you could have this person in your life right now. And you've got to look at why you're choosing this. Some of you have got a heavy addiction. Why are you choosing this? Why are you hurting yourself? Right? Because it's not really what you want. It's not making you happy. So this wolf moon gets us deep into our questioning about why we are living the way we are living. Right? Our anger, our resentment, and it makes us reflect because there's a brand new canvas ahead. Now, some of you, people have done things to you that have been deeply damaging. So what I mean by this is there are certain people who do things to us and they have far-reaching consequences for many months or years. Maybe child abuse or, anything. Okay? There's things people can do to us that can have an impact for a long time. So maybe some of you need to think about what you're doing right now because it's going to have an impact for a long time. And some of you, it's time to basically give no more time, no more energy to this person. And if you've got to pay, let them go. Let them go. Don't sit there giving them excuses because the family, who gives a shit? Don't think so. You've got the strength to let go of things that don't make you feel safe, that basically strip you of your right to happiness. And sometimes blood isn't always thicker than water. And if you've got family in your life, that's what this is about. But I'm going to end on a good note, and I think what this note is that people are coming to awareness, they're coming to awakening. They're breaking with the collective consciousness, they're not listening to the negativity of other people. They're listening to the heart, they're listening to what feels right to them, right? And if what feels right to you is I want to build a family, I want to be married, I want to build a business, like you just want to, there's something about a positive energy, and I hate the word positive, but there's something about a high energy. It doesn't matter if other people find it trendy, it doesn't matter what the opinion of other people is, you're doing it because it feels right to you. You're basically able to make a break with your past. You're able to accept people as they are, but not necessarily keep them in your life. But this is around I feel like there's some people here who they're a real slave to addiction. They're a real slave to the anger. They're a slave, what are you a slave to? In fear. I feel like this is where you're starting to take something on. You're breaking with an addiction, you're breaking with certain people in your life, you're breaking with the identity of your past so you can actually live in the now and build your future. If you was crippled by a loss, a divorce or a betrayal, you're over it. It's time to roar again, right? It's time to, if you think of the wolf goes up to the hill and cries to the moon. He's saying, tell me. He's not hiding from the dark, he's not hiding from the unseen, he wants to see, tell me. So I think this is all about confronting something. Create a life you love daily. And I think I'm going to say that some of yous, maybe you had a really good childhood, you were just lost for a while. How many times in 2024 did they say that World War III was going to happen? Did it happen? So this is about not getting lost in propaganda, in the negativity, in the heaviness of other people. Whoever is listening to this, they want to be high vibration. They want to love every day of their life as you should. They want to be around people who love them. They want to love others. They want to create. They don't want to be in whatever this thing is that the collective is creating. But you've got to watch who you're sitting with. This is also not just about other people, because we also have a dark side, we also have things in ourselves that we need to look at. So this is not always about projecting out, sometimes it's our own dark side that we need to look at, our own choices. The military coming up is about getting discipline in our life, getting things to focus on, because that's when we actually fall into addiction, when we don't have things to focus on. Not allowing yourself to be bored. Thinking about things that you want to commit to. Because when we have commitments in our life, we have to show up. Right? So this is very, very deep and profound, and I absolutely love it. It's just a general collective read I thought I'd throw out there for you. Please like it and comment, show the love. I appreciate it. It helps other people to see the video. If you want to book your own, you can check it out below, and I'll speak to you soon.